Hi, and welcome again to this latest episode of La Plata Ward 4 Update podcast and video. This is David Jenkins, La Plata Town Council member from Ward 4, and your host for this podcast and associated video, now all available on YouTube and YouTube Music. So what I want to talk about today is provide an excerpt from my last article that I'm writing for the forthcoming Spring 2025 Town Newsletter, which will be issued for March, April, and May. And I want to briefly talk about my hopes for the incoming Town Council, which they'll be in place after the election on May the 6th. And I believe then they will actually be sworn in on May the 10th, 2025. As you know, I'm not running again because of family reasons. And I'll be leaving the area within the next 12 to 14 months. So it's really been a privilege and an honor to serve on the council. I am proud of the things we have accomplished as a town council, as a team, to hopefully improve La Plata's quality of life. But I did want to focus now on what I hope the town council, the incoming council, will begin to look at and take action on. So let's quickly run through this. So this first slide, we'll talk about renew and expand the town's existing groundwater appropriation permit, also known as GAP. This is a permit required from the Maryland Department of Environment of how much water we can withdraw from the aquifer where the source is for our water, as well as Charles County. So hopefully the town will renew and then expand that existing groundwater appropriation permit to give us the appropriate allocation that we need. We're not running out of water, but we definitely need a new allocation so we can continue to have water. We have it, but again, we just need the allocation so it's there. And then as part of that process, and at the insistence of the Maryland Department of Environment, we also need to secure a water sharing agreement with Charles County. I mean, that was their recommendation because the county, as well as the town, need water. We all need water as residents of our community. The aquifers don't recognize any public or artificial political boundary. So they have suggested we work with the county to secure a water sharing agreement. We have been working on that, not only this council, but the prior council, but unfortunately we have not made a whole lot of progress to date. But hopefully that'll get better, and hopefully the next council, I hope, will make that a priority to secure these two items as quickly as possible. I do believe it is a public health issue because, again, we all need water. Let's move on to the next one. And this is a review and amend the town council's rules or procedures, which would prohibit what they define as ex parte communication. Please note that the Town Planning Commission has this clause, or this ex parte clause, in their rules of procedures. And what this means is, and I'm going to pardon me while I read this, and this is from the Maryland Department of Planning, an ex parte communication includes an oral or written communication not on the public record to which reasonable prior notice to all parties is not given. Such communication between commission members, in this case the Planning Commission, and interested persons is prohibited if relevant to the merits of a commission proceeding. They may be reviewing a site plan or other requirement that comes before the Town Planning Commission. Let me continue. Members should not discuss applications with applicants or other interested persons outside the confines of a public meeting, but should recommend that persons contact staff with any questions or concerns. So I'm just requesting, and I've made this earlier in my term, that in my view, this should be included in the town council's rules or procedures, which they're currently not. So hopefully the new council, when they take office, they will review these procedures and add this clause, because again, I believe it's currently in the Town Planning Commission's rules of procedures. This next one is I hope the town can increase public town engagement with our residents, and there are examples that I have provided, and I'll include them here. Why don't we have fact sheets, just one-page fact sheets that talk about our town departments, what they do, their function and services to you, the residents. Why don't we have or expand the town's current YouTube channel to include video interviews of council members, the department directors, or other key staff. And I give you an example, and I know some people roll their eyes and maybe groan about it, but I would refer you to and this is a link, and at the bottom here, I provided links to all these, and I will provide in the notes links to all what I'm referring to. But Charles County Government YouTube channel has a load of information that they put out to the public about the budget, about all the different departments, about what different programs are doing, all in the interest of keeping you, the residents, informed. So I would suggest, why don't we do that for our La Plata YouTube channel? And then another item here, why don't we create a budget portal for greater transparency during the current budget preparation process, and then also to track how our budget is performing during the fiscal year. And two good examples are Frederick County, Maryland. They have a portal. That's the link to it, a Frederick County budget portal. And then a smaller community, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. There's another good example. There are many other examples, but I just provided you to show you the breadth of what things they do. And I would urge the new council to do this as well. Next one, I would hopefully the council would fix and implement a pension system for new town employees, including the police, that was approved by us almost a year ago. And unfortunately, we still have not completed that task. I know as finishing up my fourth and final year, we've been working on this for probably 3 out of the 4 years. So I hope the new council, the incoming council, will complete this task. I understand, and I know it's not easy, but frankly, we've been kind of messing around with this thing for a number of years during this council, but also previous council. So I would hope that that is, the future council would complete this. The next bullet item, adopt and implement an adequate public facilities ordinance. And in my view, that should also include a fiscal impact analysis component. What I mean by that is, what is the cost of development when somebody comes to the town and they want to develop a large project? What does it cost the town in services versus what taxes we collect? Because as I said earlier, most residential development doesn't pay for itself. So hopefully the town will move forward and complete the review and adoption of an adequate public facilities ordinance. To their credit, the Planning Commission and planning staff have been working on it, but we haven't reached the point where the town council has an opportunity to weigh in and hopefully then issue it for a public hearing. So hopefully they can get to that during their upcoming term. And then the next item is adopt measures and standards for the implementation of the 2022 Town Strategic Plan goals and objectives. What I mean by that is, we have a great strategic plan, but we have no way to measure those goals and objectives. What have we or what have we not accomplished in that 2022 strategic plan? That is the basis for what we should be basing our budget and other documents about. But we have no metrics upon which we can measure that. And in fact, a recent Finance Committee meeting, they talked about that as a way that we can use. We need to measure our progress. And so having specific metrics from our 2022 strategic plan goals and objectives, I believe is critical. That is not suggest that it's easy, but again, we need to take that first step to implement this and take actions for future budgets and future plans. So I hope the incoming council will address that. Then once you have these metrics, you can then develop a dashboard or a scorecard. And I've included an example from the city of Castle Pines, Colorado. There are many other examples. This is just one of many. But they use this to track the town's implementation progress. It's also a way to better educate and better engage with you, the residents. So again, I would urge the incoming council to address this issue sooner than later. And then I would hope, and this is not an easy thing either, but I'd hope that the town would review and perhaps adopt either complete streets or Vision Zero policies, which would hopefully result in a real walkable La Plata, but as important, a safe La Plata. As you probably can realize, this is one of my pet peeves because I'm a former runner, cyclist, and a walker. And so we have a lot of speeders in our neighborhood communities, including the community where I live in Clark's Run. I've almost been hit twice walking in my own neighborhood. So I'm hoping the town can take aggressive action to create conditions for safety, but also walkable communities really does contribute to a really successful community. And then along with that, increase the knowledge of and community participation in the town's safety committee. You probably don't know we have a safety committee in the town, which I believe is the police department, public works, and the Department of Planning. And again, I'm not sure a lot of folks know about that, but that's another vehicle and another process to reduce speeding and improve safety in our residential neighborhoods. And I would refer you to an example from Monroe County, New York, where they have a community safety team, which is ingrained with their version of a safety committee, and they actively work with local neighborhoods or HOAs to look at ways to implement low-cost programs or pilot programs to increase pedestrian safety and reduce speeding in community neighborhoods. So I would hope the council would consider these actions as well. And that's it for now. I'll probably add more hopes in the future. I have a few more that I didn't post here or I didn't put in my article, but I do have others. But I didn't want to make this like a winding session for me. So I just wanted to be hopefully more positive, and I think hopefully the future council will consider these. And then I'll just begin to close by saying, and I said this before, I will be changing my Facebook page and my podcast page name to become what I call it now entitled Crosswalks, which I want to provide some independent and factual look at planning and development, not only here in La Plata, but in Charles County and Southern Maryland. So I hope this will continue to bring you information from land use and zoning to economic development, housing, transportation, and infrastructure. These are all interconnected. And I hope then to break down and talk about these policies and projects and these critical issues and those decisions that impact our region and our town and our county, and also, frankly, our daily lives. And then I hope and we'll explore the opportunity to maybe do in-person or tape interview with experts, so we have some really, really vivid and honest discussions about these issues. And I think this is important because, as you probably know, we have limited local news coverage. So I hope I can at least be one element to fill that information gap, and hopefully be able to connect the dots about growth and development affecting Southern Maryland. So look forward to this. Hopefully I'll get this in place by May at the end of my current term, and hopefully we'll bring you more information about how these issues affect the future of our communities. And then finally, my ask again, please vote. The candidates are out there. Here's a link to the candidates on our town's Facebook page on their elections. So there is a primary for Ward 2. So please vote on Monday, March the 17th, 2025 at the Town Hall from noon to 7 p.m. And then the general election is Tuesday, May 6th, but the hours have changed to give you more time to vote from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, May the 6th for the general election. So I hope you can please vote. This is your community, and you should have a voice in who you want to represent you. I've been honored to represent you for 4 years, and so I do appreciate that. And then finally, 2 quick updates. The town council is still moving forward with our town manager selection process. So we have narrowed down the 10 top candidates to the top 3, and we'll be asking them to come to La Plata for in-person interviews, and we're looking to see if we can schedule that in-person interviews here in the town on March the 26th. That has not been confirmed yet, but that's the target date. And then I would also encourage you, and I'll give you a link to this, that the newly formed Finance Committee has been meeting since January 2025. I've had the opportunity to view some of the videos of those meetings, and I'm encouraged because they are very knowledgeable about budgeting and finance. They bring a broad level of experience in financing and financial planning and accounting and budgeting. So I'm very encouraged by that, and they've asked some very great questions about the budget process. So perhaps if you get a chance, you can either look at the agenda or you can look at the tape on our YouTube channel, the town YouTube channel after the meeting, and I'll give you a link to this as well. So again, in closing, thank you for listening for the last 4 years to this podcast, as well as now the videos. I do appreciate that. And again, please email your questions and comments to me at djenkins@townoflaplata.org. Please stay safe, and we're all looking forward to the spring weather. Thank you.